From CNN.com, species of animal in Angola rebounds from near extinction. From prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guide Live Daily News. You can catch new episodes throughout the day at Creature Guide Live on Rumble and YouTube. Remember to like, comment, and if you love talking about animals, share this show with everyone you know. Now, let's get into the animal news of the day. So Angola nearly lost its national animal to poaching. Here's how a team of dedicated conservationists brought it back. Okay, with its long, rigid horns and muscular build, the giant sable antelope is a majestic sight and a rare one at that. This particular antelope endemic only to Angola. That's not true. Not even close. Jeez. Okay, so you can find even the subspecies, giant sable antelope. Back here we go over in a wide variety of different parts of northwestern Africa, not as in like the Sahara Desert, but towards still the sub-Saharan region of Nigeria, Chad, Ghana. Who am I missing? Burkina Faso, and then over in Eastern Africa, such as Kenya, Tanzania, Mozambique, down to South Africa, and Angola over in southwestern Africa as well. The sable antelope is the no, I think fourth largest antelope in existence. It is a member of the um, hyper hyper. Trying to get the family of antelopes that this belongs to. It's actually very distinct from different antelope across Africa. It's um, it's actually more closely related to animals such as the scimitar oryx, the not you, the gemsbok over in Namibia, Botswana, and South Africa. But the gemsbok, which does inhabit Namibia, which is just south of Angola, but doesn't reach the area in which sable antelope exists. Okay. With its situation, it's still precarious. The giant sable is a story of conservation success, bringing an almost extinct animal back from the brink. The giant sable antelope was first discovered in the early 20th century and went on to become Angola's national animal. Yeah, actually, this giant sable antelope was discovered by Europeans just after the okapi was discovered, which is the species of giraffe which inhabits different parts of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So, in different parts of the Congo rainforest. However, due to their striking horns, the antelope soon became a target for poachers, says renowned Angolan conservationist Pedro Vaz Pinto. In 1975, their prospects took a turn for the worse when a civil war broke out in Angola following its independence from Portugal. Over the next 27 years, the conflict devastated the country's wildlife, and the giant sable was no exception. So here's a picture of younger giant sable antelope that have radio collars on, and they're tagged as well, so we can identify them. They're all female giant sable antelopes pictured here in Kangandala National Park. So, Kangandala National Park is situated within central Angola and is home to practically one of the only giant sable antelope populations within the country of Angola. Outside of that, you have to travel to different regions of Botswana, different parts of Mozambique, Tanzania for much larger, also connected giant sable antelope populations. Also, the females do have much shorter horns than the males do. Males can have antlers, not antlers. That's a deer thing. Horns that exceed over 65 inches. It also varies depending on the subspecies, considering there are around four different subspecies of giant sable antelope. And this creature can weigh, when referring to the males, somewhere around 530 pounds, which is smaller than its relative, despite this animal having shorter horns, exceeding like somewhere around 25 inches, the rowan antelope. So, despite the look, rowan antelope can actually reach somewhere around 720 pounds. So, they have smaller horns, but they're much larger than the giant sable antelope. They are, though, their closest living relative. The war led to intensive poaching for the animal's meat and horns. Habitat loss and a lack of conservation measures exacerbated the problem. Initially, no one really knew if the giant sable had survived the Civil War, says Vaz Pinto, a biologist with a passion for wildlife and a background in field research throughout Africa. Vaz Pinto first became interested in the plight of the giant sable simply because no one else was looking into the matter. It took years until I finally was completely drawn into it, and there was no turning back. In 2003, after the war had ended, Vaz Pinto organized a small team to investigate whether any giant sables remained. They took a van and drove through Kangandala National Park in the north of the country. I guess you could say it's like the north central region, where locals had reported sightings. There, the team set up cameras throughout the 630 square kilometer or 240 square mile area. Oh, I didn't realize it was that small of a national park. Well, okay, this is pictured male and female giant sable antelopes roaming in Kangandala National Park in July of 2024. Well, we've definitely got a breeding population here. It's the darker, pigmented individuals, as well as the just longer horns. These are the males, and then the lighter pigmented ones, as well as the smaller horns, are the females. And I think that's a calf over here. These all might be like a couple years old. Also, sable antelope tend to feed on a wide variety of different types of leaves from different shrubs, as well as like certain species of grasses. And it's quite similar even with the Rowan antelope when referring to their feeding behavior. However, leopards are one of the predators within the region. I don't believe lions are existent, or I don't believe they exist within the Kangandala National Park. Also, not very common in Angola in general. There are lions; they're just not very common in the region. But leopards are one of their main predators. Year later, their photos would prove that a small population did exist. However, as Vaz Pinto would later come to find out, they were all female. That's interesting. I guess everybody's targeting them for also their horns. It took a while to actually sink in and accept the reality of what was happening. This was extinction, an extinction vortex taking place in front of our eyes. We needed a bull. You need several bulls. Soon after, Vaz Pinto established the Giant Sable Conservation Project to begin protecting the species and boosting its population. With no evidence, only a hunch, Vaz Pinto and his team traveled to Loando Integral Nature Reserve, a remote, biodiverse habitat where giant sable antelopes were previously known to live. In 2009, through DNA collected via dung samples, they identified that at least one bull lived in the reserve. Vaz Pinto and his team loaded into a helicopter to begin their research, deciding to zero in on where the sample was collected. So on the side here, so pictured in 2009, the first giant sable antelope found in Luando is transported via helicopter to Kangandala to help repopulate the species. Yeah, so it looks like, he just shot the animal. I mean, he did, but it was with a tranquilizer dart and didn't kill it. So he's going to be hopefully a successful breeder. They already even have him tagged. Um, Actually, I've heard something about this further back. Even the female antelope within this population, so, certain ones were also hybridized with Rowan antelope, and they actually ended up sterilizing the hybrids. So that way, they would keep um, the pure sable antelopes within the region. As we are moving towards the spot, there's a giant. Oh, a second. Yeah, okay. There's a giant sable bull standing there at the very same spot. So that was just like magic. And then the subsequent days, we found like six more bulls. Oh, that's good. One of the bulls was transported back to Kangandala via helicopter and placed in a fenced sanctuary with the females to help revive the population. Today, the sanctuary in Kangandala has a population of about 100 animals. Whoa, how few of the females were there? Hmm. Vaz Pinto says, which is still growing, his team also monitors the wild roaming population left in Luando through GPS collars and drones. The area is still under tremendous poaching pressure. We have five sable herds left, so we try to keep them with an active GPS collar all the time so we can provide protect some protection to that area. Southern Africa recently has been seeing a lot of poaching. It's not just Angola, even in different areas that you would think have a high level of protection of like different areas, Botswana, even Kruger National Park in South Africa is having problem with poaching. It's insane what's going on. But Angola, at least for decades now, is just poaching is a common threat. Let's see. Before Angola's independence, the giant sable population was estimated to be around 2,000 to 2,500 animals. I wouldn't exactly call that a big number, but it's definitely much more than the 100 we have today. And that's just shocking. I was expecting a much larger number. Restoring it to that level will take time. Okay, so here's a lonely male. He's okay. He's got a nice view for Angola. Um, if you're not on the coast. A male giant sable antelope pictured here in Kangandala National Park on July 16th, 2024. Hopefully he's still alive. Another thing to mention is that these animals are related to the uh, Blessbach antelope, but very distantly related. This belongs to another family of antelope of the um, Cephalonidae lineage of antelope, which also consists of the red hartebeest as well. So these animals also range throughout different parts of eastern and southern Africa, as well as the blessed buck. The blessed buck is a little less common in some instances than the red hartebeest, but you can also find them with the black wildebeest, which is a distinct species from the common blue wildebeest that people tend to see on, well, you always see on the Serengeti. I think we could set up a short to medium term objective of getting the animals back to 500, and maybe in the medium term to long term to 1,000 or 1,500. He is proud to say they have brought the animal back from the brink of extinction, but he remains cautiously optimistic about its status. It's undeniable that we have made a lot of progress, but if we stop, if we do nothing, it can all go down. Vaz Pinto is also the director at the Kasama Foundation, an NGO that focuses on wildlife conservation and environmental education across the country. Is just yep, help the Sable. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else? Seems to be that that's pretty much it. Well, I mean, looking at these antelope, I'm glad that it's increased. I didn't realize it was that low. I was expecting a few hundred at least. And the fact that there were also that few back in what, the 70s? Um, well, I guess it just makes sense of how it was able to decrease to that low. Well, let me know what your favorite species of antelope is within Africa. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guy Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, and if you love talking about animals, share this show with everyone you know. You can catch new episodes throughout the day at Creature Guy Live on Rumble and YouTube. Don't forget to catch our animal documentary commentary live stream on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Central on Rumble, because nothing is better than all animals all the time.